Hello, we're at Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 16. He shall dwell with you, even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of your gates, where it likes him best. You shall not oppress him. Notes, well, all of this was a type of the lost coming to Christ and entering into the family of God. Verse 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Notes, well, obviously, pimping and whoring people in every capacity is banned, as well as homosexuality, okay? We're just going to cut that right where it is, verse 18. You shall not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord your God for any vow, for even both these are an abomination unto the Lord your God. Okay? Notes, the latter has nothing to do with the canine variety, but rather likens homosexuals to dogs. Okay? I'm going to cut it right where it goes. Verse 19. You shall not lend upon usury to your brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Notes, well, an Israelite was to not charge interest on a loan given to a fellow Israelite. And I also got to say some things about Rahab. Rahab, the harlot, was allowed to come into the family of God and even to become an ancestress of Christ. Well, how did she do that? She did it by faith, which always overrides the law. Matthew chapter 1, verse 5. None of this means that such people cannot be saved, but only that Israel must oppose these sins very, very greatly. Verse 20. Unto a Gentile you may lend upon usury, you can charge interest, but unto your brother you shall not lend upon usury, that the Lord your God may bless you in all that you set your hand to in the land where you go to possess it. Notes. The blessings of the Lord then and the blessings of the Lord now depend upon obedience to Him. Then it was obedience to the law, but now since Jesus has died for us, it is obedience to grace. You know, placing your faith in Christ and what He did at the cross. Verse 21. When you shall vow a vow unto the Lord your God, you shall not slack to pay it. For the Lord your God will surely require it of you, and it would be sin in you. Notes. In other words, don't vow if you don't intend to pay it, because God is going to collect the vow in one way or another. It is the same thing presently with tithes. Every Christian pays tithes whether willingly or not. God in one way or the other will actually collect. Verse 22. But if you shall forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in you. Notes. In other words, no one is under any obligation to vow. This is to be a purely voluntary act. Verse 23. That which is gone out of your lips you shall keep and perform, even a freewill offering, according as you have vowed unto the Lord your God, which you have promised with your mouth. Notes. Our word is to be the same as the word of the Lord, at least as it regards integrity and veracity. Verse 24. When you come into your neighbor's vineyard, then you may eat grapes your fill at your own pleasure, but you shall not put any in your vessel. Okay, notes. Well, eat all you want, but don't take any with you, because the grapes belong to someone else. Duh. I mean, come on. Verse 25. When you come into the standing grain of your neighbor, then you may pluck the ears with your hand, but you shall not move a sickle into your neighbor's standing corn. Notes. Well, obviously, complete honesty is demanded at all times. I mean, you're just going to rip this guy off? Come on. Chapter 24. When a man has taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she finds no favor in his eyes, because he has found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and gives it in her hand, and sends her out of his house, or if the latter husband die which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is abomination before the Lord. And you shall not cause the land to sin which the Lord your God gives you for an inheritance. Notes. Now, this is not a law sanctioning or regulating divorce. This is simply assumed as what might occur. Okay? And what is regulated here is the treatment by the first husband of a woman who has been divorced a second time. The minute regulations of these chapters show how God came into the most intimate concerns of his people. To those who loved him, this was a deep joy, but to those who did not love him, it was a very, very irritating intrusion, I promise you that much. Verse 5. When a man has taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business. But he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he has taken. Notes. Obviously, this proclaims the fact that family life in Israel was very important, and hence this regulation. Verse 6. No man shall take the neither... No man shall take the neither or the upper milestone or millstone to pledge, for he takes a man's life to pledge. Notes. If a man were deprived of that by which food for the sustaining of life could be prepared, his life itself would be imperiled. So such an item could not used as a pledge, or could not be used as a pledge or a mortgage. Verse 7. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, kidnapping, and makes merchandise of him, or sells him, then that thief shall die, and you shall put away evil from among you. Notes. Plainly and simply, you kidnap somebody, you get your head chopped off, okay? Well, figuratively speaking, they would have stoned you, but, you know, don't do that unless you really want to end up getting killed. Verse 8. Take heed, my throat's giving out. Take heed in the plague of leprosy that you observe diligently, and do according to all that the priest, the Levites, shall teach you. As I commanded them, so shall you observe to do. Remember what the Lord your God did unto Miriam, by the way, after that you were come forth out of Egypt. Notes. Just take a look at Leviticus chapter 13 up to 14, and you'll get the picture. Wasn't pretty. Verse 10. When you do lend your brother anything, you shall not go into his house to fetch his pledge. You shall stand abroad, and the man to whom you do lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto you. Notes. This concerns someone who had borrowed a sum of money or something in his house, such as furniture, etc. If he could not pay the money, the one to whom the mortgage was given could not come into his house and collect. The man must bring it out. Verse 12. And if the man be poor, you shall not sleep with his pledge. Notes. This is concerning the one who had pledged his garment. Verse 13. In any case, you shall deliver him the pledge again when the sun goes down, that he may sleep in his own raiment and bless you. And it shall be righteousness unto you before the Lord your God. Notes. The spirit of all these ordinances is very touching, and showing the goodness and pity of God, who designs to take knowledge of all the things and to teach his people delicacy, propriety, consideration for others, sensitivity. In other words, you got to be Christ-like. And we must pick up in chapter 24, verse 14 of Deuteronomy. Thank you, and God bless.